Folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for the City of Toronto for week ending May the 4th, 2022. We know the market's softer. Prices are softening, we'll say for now. Not all parts of Toronto, though, are being affected the same way, and I'll get into that in a minute. Let me tell you about a crazy thing that happened to me during this week. I received a phone call that made me kind of look up at the sky and say, unbelievable. Before I tell you about the call, though, I got to give you a little bit of background information. Earlier in the year, actually December and earlier this year, we've been working with a buyer that's looking to buy in East York. And there were two properties that he absolutely loved. And we saw lots of properties and we put in lots of offers. Two he really loved. We didn't end up winning, or our offer was not accepted. Multiple offers on all these properties, and we didn't get it. And that property, they were always on this client's mind, and we've not bought yet, and we're still looking. And a little bit of there's a lot less inventory to choose from. Actually, it's interesting. In a lot of neighborhoods, there's more properties available right now, but not for what this client of ours is looking for. Well, he keeps saying, keep an eye on those properties, keep an eye, but they were bought. Somebody's moved in, other families are living there. Well, I get this phone call, somebody that watches us on YouTube here, and says, I bought this property back in December, and we're thinking, I know it's short time that we've been there, but we're thinking of making a move. And as I get deeper and deeper into the conversation, it turns out it's one of those two properties that my buyer client absolutely loved and is still asking me about the properties long after we lost on the offer night there. But it's like, wow, how is this possible? So we're now trying to put buyer and seller together, and the seller knows the market's a little bit softer, and the buyer knows, our client knows the market's a little bit softer. So we're working out those details now to see if we could find common ground. But what are the chances of that? And this seems to happen more than you think. We're constantly talking to realtors all day long about their properties, what they're selling, or what their clients are looking for. We're constantly talking to buyers and sellers all day long. I'm constantly talking real estate to anybody we get a chance to talk to real estate about. Plus, my son's a full-time realtor and my wife's a full-time realtor. And so you combine all this and mix it up, and opportunities tend to arise from being in situations, and I often find the harder you work, sometimes the luckier you get. So don't give up. If there's a dream house that you want and there's opportunities there, and sometimes when it's like, oh man, we're never going to find the right house, or we're not going to get the right buyer for our property that we're selling, that next phone call could change everything. So stay positive, stay focused. Work with the right people that are going to help you with the frame of mind, because it's not always an easy thing selling and buying. And just surround yourself with positivity. Things have a way of working out the way they're supposed to work out. If you feel this video can help anybody please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate needs, buying, selling, whatever's on your mind real estate related, it's really simple. Below this video, in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that. Book a time that's convenient for you. This way, I'll know ahead of time, and I'll make sure my schedule's organized so we could talk about whatever's on your mind. Let's get into the numbers. Now, I said, we know we're in a slowdown. We see it out there. We see it in the prices. But not all parts of Toronto are being affected the same way, and I'll show it to you. Here we have all the City of Toronto. This is for detached properties only, broken down by week for a whole year. So last week, week ending May 4th, we sold 177 detached properties. Those sales are down from the previous week, and we sold 55 of those properties at $2 million or more, and that number is also down from that week. So sales are down, properties selling at $2 million or more are down, but average sold price went up. We're sitting at $1,989,000. And when we kind of look at the peak of just over 2 million up to 2.1, we're just under 2 million. If we take this one snapshot in time right here compared to there, it really doesn't look like we're down that much. And this is kind of what we're seeing. Prices have softened, but you know, you got to really kind of figure out the neighborhood, the type of property, the price point. All that will have different effects on price. This is an average of all detached properties across all the city of Toronto. Compared to last year, 1,989,000 is 18% higher than it was last year at this time. Last year we sold 71 properties for this week at $2 million or more. This week we sold 55. So average sold price is 18% higher year over year. Median price is 15% higher year over year. And if we kind of go back here over the last 3 months or so, you can see the median price in the high 1.6, it's now high 1.5. So prices are softened, but it's not a boom headed down steep type of, it's getting softer. So keep an eye on that. Of the 177 that sold, 64% sold at list price or more. Now, why do I monitor how many sold at list price or more? And you really, I don't know if you can see this stat anywhere else, but it's a number that I produce. And well, we used to be in the 80s, high 80s, less and less percentage selling at list price or more. It just helps me to understand the intensity of the market, and it's a lot less intense now than it was just a few months ago. Year-to-date sales, January 1st to May 4th, were 23% lower in sales this year versus last year, and listings year-to-date are 12% less this year versus last year. But for this 1 week, we virtually listed the same that we listed last year. We listed 480 this year. Active listings is a bit higher, and months of inventory is higher this week versus the last week. 1.5 months of inventory, and average days on market also is a little bit higher at 12. So that's all the city of Toronto, but let's break it down between west, central, and east. So here you have your central average sold price went up. West Toronto, for the 1 week it came down, and East Toronto, it's been coming down now for several weeks. Zeroing on West Toronto, average sold price is $1,679,000. We sold 63 detached properties in West Toronto. 64% were at list price or more. Average sold price is 11% year over year higher, and median price is 12% year over year higher. And months of inventory has gone up to 1.3. But if we look back over the last 3 months, average sold price in West Toronto really hasn't moved that much. It looks like pretty steady going along. If we look at Central Toronto also, average sold price hasn't moved. Sure, it's got its ups and downs, but overall it's, you know, kind of the same. It hasn't moved that much. Months of inventory went up to 2, and average sold price is 23% higher than what it was a year ago. Median price is 13% higher than what it was a year ago. So let's look at East Toronto. We sold 58 detached properties in East Toronto. 76% were sold at list price or more. So East Toronto is still the most intense, and throughout the whole, for many months now, East Toronto has been the most intense area and has also seen the highest price growth percentage-wise. Currently sitting, average sold price is 11% higher than what it was a year ago. Median price is 13% higher than it was a year ago. And months of inventory is now, it's up from the previous week. It's now sitting at 1.3, and 1.3 is the highest we've seen in a long time. But look at price, where in West Toronto and East Toronto over the previous 3 months, we said it's kind of the same. East Toronto, that previously saw the highest gains percentage-wise, is now seeing prices coming down quite a bit. We were sitting in the 1.6 range, and now we went from 1.4. We're now mid 1.3. The average sold price now is 1,368,000. East Toronto went up and is coming down a lot quicker than all the other areas now when it comes to the average sold price. Let's take a closer look at semis here. We sold 84 semis. Semis are still very competitive. 82% of semis sold at list price or more. Average sold price is 13% higher than what it was a year ago. Median price is 3% higher than what it was a year ago. And although it's coming down slightly, it's just gradually losing its steam as far as price-wise. And months of inventory is sitting at 0.8. And townhouses, only 26 townhouses, these are freehold townhouses, only 26 were sold in all the city of Toronto. 62% sold at list price or more. Average sold price for townhouses currently 7% higher than last year. Median price is 11% higher than what it was a year ago. And looks like average sold prices are coming down with the townhouses, more so than with the semis. Condos. We sold 275 condos last week. 42 of those were at $1 million or more. So sales has come down, and average sold price is now sitting at $829,000. It's up from last week, and every week is going up, down, but it's lower than what it was when we were at our peak. It's only slightly lower. It's not like, and I keep stressing because so many people are saying, yeah, prices are, well, they haven't bottomed out. It's not like they're like dropping quickly. They're just gradually getting less. So yes, so prices are slightly softer now. I keep using the word softer to not be so dramatic about it. It's softer from what it was a few months ago. We're sitting at 17% higher than last year's average sold price, and median price is also 17% higher than what it was a year ago. If we could look at the median price and kind of see how that's behaving, well, we were in the high 750s. We're now 735, 713 the week before. So yeah, it's been coming down, but just small percentage points, just a few $1,000. It's not drastically dropping. 275 were sold this week. 56% of those condos were sold at list price or more. The difference as far as year-to-date sales for condos, it's similar to the detached market. We're 21% behind, less sales this year than what we were selling a year ago. Listings are 2% less this year, so listings are pretty close to being on par to what we were listing last year. And if we look at this just this 1 week, it's also pretty close. 757 were listed this week. Active listings is up from the previous week, and now months of inventory is sitting at 1.8, which is up from the previous week. If we look at the summary across the board, in all home types, in east, central, west, like all over, months of inventory is up across the board. As we see months of inventory climb, we should see property prices softening. That's kind of how it works, and months of inventory is really our barometer of supply and demand. Hope you found this information useful. If you feel you need help with anything, please reach me through the calendar below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.